of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck E. Jonathan. He has won various local and international awards and was recently reviewed and elevated at the University of Port Harcourt to the position of full professor of pharmacology. Dr. A.W. Obianime is married to Mrs. Jemima Obianime with 6 children. His wife is the Deputy Director of Administration at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. As the President of the John National Congress, Dr. Obianime has done a remarkable job of repositioning the INC to become one of the most veritable non-partisan, non-violent political platforms in the Nigerian nation. He is a fellow of several chartered institutes, a justice of the peace, and a fighter for natural justice, equity, fairness, and the unity of the Nigerian nation or federation. Dr. Obianime is an ardent believer in paradigm shift and in change. The title of his presentation today is essentially Jonathan, the embodiment of a paradigm and generational shift in the leadership of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Obianime.
Thank you, Mr. Ogoji. Dr. Ogoji, please. The Consul General, leader of NPF, and all senior members of the NPF, permit me to stand on existing protocol by saying we are all distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed honored to be on this platform to talk to a cross-section of Nigerian professionals and responsible personalities. I'm flattered by the citation on my person. But the beauty of it is that in the household of education, these are normal rituals. And I accept all. Thank you, Coach. Before I go into my speech, I listened as a good follower in the day, and certain matters arising came up. I purposely refused to talk about them because I felt they would form some flank in my discussion this evening. First, the MPF said they are non-partisan, and they will remain non-partisan. At what point will the non-partisanship of NPF be required in the light of the important decisions and issues that have been raised? And I take good consolation in the adage Ichie gave this afternoon. A man said that he didn't want to be fed, but he came with a silver spoon. You want your house to be rebuilt? You want your nation to be better. And part of the critical issues of our nation is the issue of leadership. And the NPF is saying we will have no comments when it comes to partisanship. In other words, when the rice is served, please go home with the spoons. And let us see who will enjoy the banquet. The other issue is the issue of consensus. What consensus? You will later discover in the body of my discussion that as far as I'm concerned, there is no consensus candidate of the North. Neither is there any consensus candidate of the PDP. The issue raised is that some 7 elders outside 17 states decided to come together. 7. Some took responsibilities for states they don't belong. Some decided to speak to people and speak about people they do not represent. And decided between themselves they will share votes. And came up with a candidate called Atiku Abubakar. I want to inform this House on a matter of information. That one, this issue of consensus was not premised on principle. It was premised on zoning, and it was premised on backward to stop a particular candidate if they can, at all costs, in the 21st century Nigeria. So for the purposes of my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, there's no candidate that is consensus candidate from the north. But the interesting thing is that in diaspora, we have the freedom of speech. The interesting thing is that the diaspora is meeting today in Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, of all places where freedom was declared to all mankind. Freedom and democracy in America started from this city. And this is the home of freedom. And therefore, let freedom reign from here to Nigeria. And so, in the name of freedom, we will say it all. And so, the issue of consensus should not bother any one of you. Please go home and sleep well. Because I'm going to present to you tonight a candidate that has been ordained and approved by God, accepted by the people as a consensus candidate of the whole Nigeria. A candidate that has been accepted by the new generation of people. A candidate that is alive even on the internet with the young and the old. That is replying to statements and inquiries. A candidate that is running government openly. A candidate that has brought change to Nigeria and refuses to see the villa as one old mosaic Catholic monastery situated on a hill. I'm bringing to you a candidate who is fresh. And somebody who wanted to eulogize his humility, titled his poster, a breath of fresh air. That candidate is no other than Mr. Humility, Dr. Goodluck Ebele. I'm telling you all this historically and putting things in perspective because I want you to know where we have come from. That we have moved from the level of ethnic nationalism and militarism to a new consciousness of political activism, wielding the civil society and the politicians together and giving Nigeria a new vision. And in all this, where does Dr. Goodluck Jonathan fit in? Of course, you will say, he's a member of my tribe. And indeed, I'm his leader. Yes. But I can tell you that I, Dr. Bianim, if you know me very well, just like Adandibo said, it is not because a woman is a woman, therefore you must give her the candidature she wants. It must be based on the credentials. I totally agree with that. It's a universal philosophy. And that was why I decided to say, okay, if I fought for you to become acting president with my team, and I can look at you closely now, you look it, we now have to dig back into the history of this man. And we found out that it's Mr. Humility personified. He's the best educated head of state Nigeria has ever had. 3, is a product of the Nigerian educational system, which means an endorsement of our education brand name. He had his first degree at the University of Port Harcourt, where myself and Professor Brandweifer teaches. He became a lecturer, and he worked in Ompodec as a technocrat. Then came back to the University of Port Harcourt to do a PhD, and got a PhD. Everybody here knows what it takes to get a PhD in Nigeria. Then he now subjected that PhD to the technocratic system. He was working with it. He lectured with it. And then, based on his track record, he was called upon to become a running mate to the SY governor by system. So he became a deputy governor. and later became acting governor. He became vice president based on track record. I was in the stadium that day when we were receiving General Obasanjo. When Goodluck Jonathan had finished presenting his report card in the Yenagoa Stadium, the president was so impressed and said, "Goodluck Jonathan, you have the fear of God in you. You are indeed a great leader." That was the moment that changed the destiny of Jonathan. The sitting president now decided to take a man who wore a face cap just like that gentleman there, who went to Eagle Square to elect the presidential candidate, and told him that remove that face cap and work him the so-called resource control card. I'm telling you the history of this man. He went as a state governor to lead his delegation to nominate the president. And then got there. He never filled any form. He never told anybody that he wanted to be vice president. And then when Yar'Adua emerged, and they were not thinking about who would run with him, Olusegun Obasanjo and the rest and the leaders of the party said, take that young man, that humble, performing governor of Bayelsa State, let him be our vice president. What? Track record, humility, substance. In other words, I am giving you this for you to realize that Goodluck Jonathan is the most qualified person for the office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. For a man to have been a teacher, for him to have been a technocrat, for him to be a deputy governor, acting governor, vice president, acting president, now president. What else do you want? And because most of these were not based on election, I'm telling you, he never carried flag like this one. To say, I want to be governor of Bayelsa State, he became governor. I want to become president of Nigeria, he became president. Don't you think that there's a divine hand in what is happening? This indeed is the consensus. If a man without tombstones, without making any announcement, without advertising in Ogodi's book and pamphlet, without advertising in the mirror, eventually becomes the president of Nigeria, don't you think that there's something propelling that man? And it is only for teachers that let no man put his hand in that way, because you cannot stop a moving train. But then, having looked at the track record and his achievements, the question is, have you interacted with Goodluck Jonathan? He's a very humble man. He's a man that when he's talking to you, he doesn't show you that he's even the president of Nigeria. If you were a former colleague and classmate, he still calls you those names that you call each other. He's a man who responds to even the youth who are talking to him on the internet. He makes sure that he responds to them. He has now brought digitalization to the Nigerian system of governance. So it's a digital and a non-analog president. Don't you think this is a level of freshness? And this is the most detribalized in Nigeria. He travels to every part of the country wearing their dress, telling everybody we are one, and has the interest of the country at heart. Let's look at what he has done when he came into office as vice president. He was the backbone of the Yar'Adua administration intellectually, for most people who didn't know.